Hey guys, so the Republican debate just ended. It was pretty boring, actually. There was a couple highlights. Now, just so you know, I will have highlights up of those moments. There's a few precious moments where it's actually kind of interesting. But that probably won't be till tomorrow because I got to go to a dinner. Now, to give you some context, this debate's kind of a very important one. A little bit more than most of them. Kane is in a world of hurt. There's been 4 women have stated that he has sexually harassed, or some even say assaulted them. And this is kind of the first major debate where he gets to respond. Now, there's been a couple press conferences and the such, but this is the first time he's going to be among the challengers. So it was kind of interesting to watch how the crowd, the media, everybody reacted to this, especially because it's on the business channel too, which for Kane's benefit it was probably for Kane's benefit that it was. Not that they had pre-scheduled it or anything. What I'm saying is that it was probably a good thing that Kane ended up on the business channel, not CNN, for a debate at this moment. But the debate was interesting to watch because of the crowd's reaction. Now, they ended up eventually bringing up this issue based on, should America hire a president who has these issues going on? Would you wouldn't do this with a CEO? Why would you do this with a president, right? That's kind of the question, kind of the gist of the question. How Kane handled it was he basically said that, well, these charges are baseless, and for every one of these individuals that are leveling these baseless charges, this is not a direct quote, I'm pretty sure you don't know, for everybody leveling one of these charges that is totally unjustified, there's like 1,000 people behind me, was basically his point. You take it as you will. But what was interesting about it was the crowd's reaction. They booed when the subject matter went to this question, and they also cheered when they eventually decided to go to the business side of things. The other question that was leveled immediately after Kane answered that question, before they ended up transferring it back to business, was asking Romney if he would have hired or kept Kane on if it was a company that he had taken over. He basically chose not to answer, but the crowd booed that question like nobody's business. And it was very weird to watch that occur. But I think it kind of shows where some aspects of the Republican Party are at this point. Now, the other major event that happened in the debate, to fast forward, I guess something like 40 minutes, was that Perry, the former frontrunner, this was his big opportunity to show that he could debate, right? Kane's in a softened position. This is a big opportunity to do this, to show what he's got. And he decides to list 3 programs he's going to cut, okay? Makes sense. It's a good thing. And he goes through the first one, goes through the second one, and he forgets the third one. Now, this wouldn't be bad. People forget things all the time, but he doesn't play it off very well. And it goes on for like a minute and a half where it's just him stumbling over himself. And it's a horrible 2 minutes, just about. And it's like, I really did do the palm to the face thing. It was agonizing. You felt for the guy. This was his big chance, and he kind of just blew it with that because that's what the media is going to report on. They're not going to report on, he had a good response when it came to, the housing crisis. No, they're going to report on this. They're going to report on him having this major gaffe. Ron Paul, what was interesting was he kept talking to Ron Paul. Perry, if you're not following, Perry kept talking to Ron Paul, which was an interesting component to the race because now they're evidently tied in place. They're both got about 10%. So it was an interesting development. I thought the front runner, Romney, did a good job, though it wasn't his best. A couple of debates ago, I think he did a lot better. They really didn't fight, so I guess in that way it was a good debate for him. The other person that I'll mention is that I think Santorum actually did a decent job, which I'm surprised about saying. But once again, I think his campaign was doomed from the beginning. Bachmann sounded like Bachmann in every single debate. Frankly, it's just become repetitive. And I'll say Gingrich Gingrich was kind of a dick, especially to the people asking the questions. You know, I mean, it's like they get all these questions to ask, and, you know, I don't know how much impact they have on what questions they're going to ask. But, I mean, he just was kind of a dick to them. And, I mean, it was pretty fair questions. Like, when they asked him about some health care, you know, what would he do after he repealed Obamacare, right? And he just was kind of a dick about it. And it was like, he had an answer. He just wanted to be a dick. I don't know. It just kind of rubbed me the wrong way. Because, you know, I forget the woman's name, but, you know, she wasn't trying to be an ass to him, and he was to her. The last candidate, of course, is Huntsman. I thought Huntsman did a pretty good job. Though, in one question, it almost, a lot of people might interpret it as him supporting tariffs. Turns out he wasn't really saying that. But I thought he did a pretty good job, too. He sounded a lot more rational when it came to these big issues than a lot of the other candidates. And he sounded like somebody that, you know, was trying to act like a president versus act like a candidate, if you follow my meaning. So it was interesting to see that. It's going to be interesting to see the reaction by the media if they just focus on Perry's gaffe and how much time Kane's response gets. Those are the two big clips you'll probably see 1,000 times after this. I'm doing the same thing, but, you know, 1,000 times after this. So yeah, subscribe, comment, rate. I'll have the highlights up probably by tomorrow. I think I already said that. That's it. Bye.